All right, hey there, Christopher Inks with Texas West Capital. It is just after 11 a.m. Central Standard Time here on Friday, the 12th of August, 2022. Man, checking in with y'all live here from, a nice Bernie, Texas day. They keep talking about us finally getting some rain out here. I think we had a little splatter of some drops yesterday and a lot of lightning, but hopefully we'll get some more. How are y'all doing? Everybody trading all right? Doing all right? Man, we had CPI coming in really a lot lower than expected this week, which says, you know what, that inflation is cooling off. Now, people are going to blame it on the Fed. Guys, we've already been talking about this, right? Excuse me. How things are already in motion, and the Fed jumps in afterward, and then, they kind of muck everything up usually. But yeah, so, CPI coming in soft, it's still high, it's still elevated, but coming in softer than what was expected. They were already expecting to pull back, came in even better month over month and year over year. Housing market continues to drop off. Again, no surprise there. Same thing we've been talking about happening, and, it just keeps following through. But, with the huge jobs number, surprise to the upside, then this bigger drop in CPI than expected this week. The Fed's kind of sitting there like, okay, what do we do now? So, they could still raise it 75 basis points. I think 100 basis points is probably off the table at this point with that big CPI push down lower. But they could still raise it 75. Again, I still think, this is probably the end of the big raises here. I think, they start tapering off and eventually turning down here coming into Q4 as we go on through that. So we'll see how that all plays out. Stock market rallying up with NASDAQ's up over 20%. So, 20% move down is a bear market, 20% move up is a bull market, right? But, again, I don't know. I think we're kind of topped out on the rally. It looks like it's three waves up. Anything could happen. It could pull back and then, rally up a bit higher there. For now, I still think the top's in. But like I said, as new information comes in, we'll see how it goes. If we're dropping down below the swing low, then, it all but guarantees that top's probably in. And it should be a big move down at that point because this would be a leading diagonal down as one and then rally up for wave two and then the move down for wave three. Yesterday's daily candles looked pretty bad. So I kind of posted there on Twitter that I believe that today would be generally a down day for stocks. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll take a look at the stocks here in just a bit. Who's all here already? We've got, who is this? Dr. Roku. Who else we got there? Poison 4Y. Is that what that says? Data's here. HJ, what's up, man? Hank checking in. I saw Hank was complaining about not eating out at restaurants there on Twitter. What's going on, Blaze? Telluride here as well. Melissa, good morning. Silvio, good to see you as always. Matthew Bolt's checking in. Happy Friday. Yes, my friend. Happy Friday. Let's see here. He says, what we are doing is clearly working. Let's raise it 150 basis points. Talking like he's the Fed there. Yeah, right. I mean, they're always going to take the, the Fed's funny. They take, it's like everybody else. They take credit for the good things that seem to happen, and then they blame everybody else for the bad things, right? It's the way it is. It's the way people are in general. And if you're in politics, which, let's face it, the Fed is a political arm, It is what it is. You got to tell people what they want to hear, not the truth. And, as soon as people realize that, they'll understand that all the parties are the same. Everybody's the same. Nobody's any different. Power is power. The end. I mean, you can argue all you want, but historically, there's nothing else there. Thousands of years, power is power, period. It has nothing to do with you. It has to do with controlling you or at least getting what they want. Funny thing, right? Mark, what's going on, man? Good to see you checking in. Andrew Bennett's here as well. Wazobia Dollars, what's up, man? Baltazar's here. Good to see you guys. But anyway, let's check in. So, hey, guys, listen, you can join us here at howtotradetowin.com. We'd love to have you here. Go to the Join Us up here. We still have currently that special right now for the first 100 people that gets you half off of the Tier 3 for the year. So that's already amazing. And you're also going to get 6 free months of our crypto signals. You get to choose if you want to get 6 months of our signal services. You can choose if you want crypto, Forex, or stocks. Man, we're banging it out here, guys. I don't know. Gosh, what did I say we're up to? I kind of did this yesterday. I haven't had much chance to look here today because just getting ready for the doing all the work and then getting ready for this live stream. But what did I put yesterday here? We're up. Gosh, Forex, man. Forex, crazy this week. Where are we at there? Man. Oh, there we go. Yeah. We made 108.5 pips on 1 USD yen short. We made another 71 pips there on, I'll just put this right over. You guys can see this right here. This was from the other day here. 108, 71, 11.1, 14, 37. That was all that day. And then, of course, we'd already, I double posted this. We'd already recorded this, the 38.5% on the dot long. We closed out ETC yesterday for 14% as well. Man, so yeah, just really kind of kicking it in. Our, again, we have multiple trades here. We've got even more now that are going. I think we're up. I was looking this morning, eyeballing it. I think we're up about 70 or 80% on our open crypto trades right now. That's beyond what we've already closed out. So, man, going in there. And, of course, stocks, a little bit slower with stocks, but still doing great with those. We had our great wins here recently. And right now we're doing good on MU. We're up on that one, Micron. We're going to see where Ride could take us. And then I think we've got a few others in there as well. So, yeah, man. You can join it. You can do it there. Or you can just join with the signals themselves. You can get in there and get on them. Right now, they're $79 a month. I tell you what, guys, they're definitely going to go up in price. We are well below what anybody else with signals is charging. And just doing, amazingly right now. So, yeah, that'll definitely go up. So, you can get in on the cheap right now. So, make sure you do it, all right? We'd love to have you there. I'm telling you, though, Tier 3 is the Tier 3 special is what you guys need to do. Because at the end of the day, the only reason we offer those signals is because you guys keep hammering on about it. But at the end of the day, we're all about teaching. We're all about you learning how to trade on your own, guys. And so that's why we're doing that. So hopefully you guys get that and you jump on the education. That's where it's at, right? Let's see here. Bamboo, what's going on? Good to see you here. Let's see here. Telluride says, with the tornado news, I'm waiting for Craig Wright to deny that he ever had anything to do with Bitcoin. Man, tornado, yeah. What the developer tornado? He got arrested there, didn't he? Where did he get arrested at? Man, I cannot remember what country was that he got arrested in just recently. But yeah, man, Tornado Cash doing its thing. Supposedly. I don't even how much money did they say that North Korea ran through it supposedly? I mean, just some like ridiculous number supposedly running through it. So Amsterdam is where he got caught. Okay, in the Netherlands, yeah, that's right. Man, all them crooks over there in the Netherlands. I'm just messing with you. I said that because of Hank. But seriously, yeah, man, it's tough to develop some, guys. I know a lot of people out there with crypto talking about decentralized and all that, but nothing is decentralized. If you create it, you're going to have governments holding you accountable for it, period, end of sentence. And some governments make it a lot easier to hold you accountable than others, right? But nothing just appears out of nowhere. And so, that's just the way the governments works, the way the power works, guys. So, everybody assumes that you can have these decentralized exchanges and they're off the radar for the countries and, for the governments and whatnot, but they're not. Whoever created that stuff is going to be held accountable for it. Just is what it is, guys. Whether you like it or not, it is what it is, right? So, oh man. Pretty nasty stuff. He said he was laundering cash for the drug cartels as well. Oh, yeah. Not good, right? Possibly a U.S. dev was arrested. See, I don't have to go anywhere. I can just talk to you guys. You guys keep up all the news for me. Might be a dumb question. How is Tornado Cash illegal? So Mark, basically, it's making the service available for other people to use it to launder money and stuff. Yeah. So if you make these things, the governments are going to hold you accountable if somebody uses it to do something illegal. Yeah, it sucks the way it is. I mean, especially if you honestly have no intention for that to be happening, or you just think, hey, people should do whatever. If you develop it and you put it out there, when you're running it, I mean, yeah, they're going to hold you responsible for that. So yeah. Oscar, what's up, man? He says it was developed to literally launder money, and crypto Twitter is doing surprise Pikachu face at this arrest. Oh man, that's funny. I like that. Yeah, Hank saying if crypto ever succeeds to anonymize payments, it'll be killed. Full stop. Yeah, I kind of believe that too, guys. Now, I don't think that's correct. I'm personally a big fan of privacy. People, human beings, just in general, the less privacy there is, the more psychological issues they tend to have. And so there's multiple studies on this out there. And so it's not a good thing. People have to be able to have privacy in their lives, and beyond that, there's just too many ways that public, information can find its way to harm you. And so, yeah, I've never been a big fan of all this overreach and whatever, but it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do with it, and just hopefully you don't do anything stupid to set yourself up to put you in the sights of government somewhere. Too many people, though, they think, hey, I'm just this little guy and I can do this and I don't have to worry about it. The problem is, especially when it comes to cryptocurrency right now, government's going to make, they're going to make examples. They want, how best do you get people to do what you want them to do? Well, you do a couple of high-profile cases. You hurt someone really bad, right? You really, you go for 50 years imprisonment or something, right? And then people tend to generally step in line, right? And so, unfortunately, it's still the way it's going to be, I think, with crypto. But I do tend to agree with Hank. Anonymization through crypto is going to find itself in the crosshairs of governments, not just the U.S., but governments all across the world. Because, governments are power, guys, and they want to have that power. The only way they can have that power is by knowing what you're doing. They have to make you feel like you have to do what they say, or bad things are going to happen to you, right? I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's like the mob, right? Pay us for your protection, kind of thing, right? Don't cross us. It's crazy things, but Travis says now the IRS is beefing up. Yeah, we kind of hit on that last week or earlier this week or whatever. Again, as far as the IRS goes, for their job, they're really understaffed, which is why the returns are so far behind. So they've for years now they've been getting cut. Their money has been getting cut. And not that I'm sitting here apologizing for the IRS or anything, but I just mean as a business, as a function of the government, what it's supposed to do. It's been seriously, underfunded for years now. Now, if you believe the nonsense that, if you're under $400,000 a year, that the IRS isn't going to come after you with all these new headhunters, yeah, no, BS. That's such BS. It's always been, the middle class that pays for it. And as I referred to last time, that George Carlin skit, piece where he says that basically at the end of the day, the rich get richer, the middle class pay all the taxes, do all the work, and the poor are there to scare the hell out of the middle class, keep them showing up to work every day, right? It is what it is, right? It sucks. It sucks. But, don't ever believe what a government tells you, guys. That's just silliness. The people in points of power are going to tell you whatever they think that you want to hear to keep them in power. That's all it is. I mean, again, historically, any government, throughout history, you can see it. No government is benevolent. No government is good. It's all self-serving. It's all self-serving, guys. All you have to do is generally look at a government, look at its laws. What laws does it punish the hardest? It's usually the laws against it, right? Treason, counterfeiting. These are the laws that get the the strongest sentences, right? Yeah. So good times, right? Government is not simply executing the will of the people in real democracies. Real democracy is just the group versus anybody else. That's all it is. It doesn't even have to be the largest group. It's just the group that gets the votes in. I don't think democracy is necessarily all that great. It's still, you can tell somebody else what to do, and it doesn't matter. You can sit there and argue it all you want. I know that you've got a different viewpoint as me because of where you're raised, but historically, governments are the same thing historically. I mean, there's nothing different that happens with them. They all do the same thing. They all go the same way at the end of the day. It is what it is. Now, I think the bigger argument is not can you survive without a government, but do you want to? So government maybe at least gives you some kind of legal redress to things that happen to you. Whereas, without government, you're left to your own devices, and you have to decide if that's a better way to live. That's a personal decision there. But as somebody who's actually been through law school and with a law degree, I've studied the very bad side of government, seen the very bad side of laws that were supposedly meant to be good for people. But anyway, I digress. We'll get all off that. Yeah. What about Bitcoin? Do you think there is a chance we will get to test the daily pivot? Oh, there's always a chance, sure. There's always a chance, guys. There's nothing there isn't a chance for. The question is it likely? So right now, we can look here right now. Let's just look at this kind of local chart right here. I've got this, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 1, 2 coming here, right? So it hit where we were looking for it, this blue supply structure here, right? It ends up being the S1 pivot on the 15-minute. We had this set, before the 15-minute pivot change yesterday. Breaking out above the 15-minute pivot is signal that wave 2 is probably done and wave 3 is in progress. Wave 3 has a minimum expected target of 27,281 and 75 cents, okay? Now, if we come on down here and break down below this swing 2, I think that's going to suggest that what we have here is actually a flat correction, circle wave 2. So instead of it ending here, we've got ABC down and maybe a WXY up. And then we'd have 5 waves coming on down here, probably toward the daily pivot. That would be my initial target. We could go a bit lower here, but that's my initial target anyway. If we do zip out here to the 1 hour, there's your structure right there. Again, the idea here maybe is that we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So wave 2 pulling back to wave 4, the lesser degree. That's usually where we look for wave 2 to target initially. So here we are. If you're looking at Elliott wave, it's kind of following in what we would expect. Right here on the 4 hour. 4 hour looks a little interesting, right? So again, it's the R1 pivot here on the 4 hour. Again, you can see right here where we're finding support is this same support resistance level, right? Resistance, support over here. And then we have this demand block right here. And then here we go right here in that same block there. So we're just looking for a rally up and through this area, kind of continue higher there. 4 hour not quite oversold yet. We could get a pullback and then move up, which could get the Stochastic RSI oversold, but it doesn't need to. Right now, as you can see here, we've got higher lows here right now with price. This black candle and this black candle here, these two swing lows. And then we've got lower corresponding RSI swing lows on that. So, hidden bullish divergence printing there. Let me go ahead and mark this here. So again, Confluence sitting there saying, well, it could very well likely be heading up higher now from where we're at. Let me see here. Let me just go ahead and get this set on here so it doesn't show up on the other time frames. All right. And then as we continue to zoom out here, Hank's favorite time frame, the 12 hour. It's not a bad time frame, of course. And here we go. And so, again, whereas everybody's looking at this, let me see, is this the one I'm looking for? Yeah. Everybody wants to look at it like this, as this maybe some sort of weird kind of ascending wedge here. I tend to look at it this way. We've got a horizontal base right here. We've got a horizontal base right here. And we might be making another smaller horizontal base on top of that. And so, again, could see price rip on up. I mean, we've got the room here to do so and rip on up to that 29.30 area. We just haven't been able to do it yet. As always, continue to look left over here. If we jump out here to the daily, and you'll see that where we're finding resistance right here is this cluster right here, this demand right here, resist or supply right now, right? That's where we hit here, 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 and we're working our way up through it, right? We've still got higher highs and higher lows. Now, this is an ugly looking candle yesterday. Yesterday candle? That's an ugly looking candle, which means a pause, potential reversal. Right now, we've paused. We've pulled back locally. So now we're going to see if we can get some rally up or if we'll have to pull back further again toward that pivot there, which would just say 1, A, B, C, potentially as a 2, and head up. So, we've got room here in Stochastic RSI just now breaking into overbought, but this is on the daily, so it could sit up there for a while, right? As we've got here, right? RSI still has a lot of room there. You can see that we've had volume continuing to kick up as we went sideways and popped up here. And so now we want to see, well, it's looking like it right now, like this could potentially just be clearing the way. But again, coming at the end of this, hallway or even just this local kind of rally here, that's usually at least a pause, if not a reversal, for where it's at. So we'll see how it plays out. But for right now, taking us, it took us where we were looking to get to, which just so ends up happening to be, the S1 pivot right there, this demand structure. And so now we're going to see if we can't rally up there higher. If this is a 1-2 off the bottom right here, wave 3 up there around 24,220 or so, and then wave 5 up here at about 24,339, which gets us, kind of just right there at that resistance. So we could see that. We'll just have to see if it does. It looks like it could be setting up for a potentially good weekend, but we need to see if this holds and if we can break out impulsively here above that 15-minute pivot there and then kind of set ourselves up higher there. Let me see here. What's going on, hey, Mr. Wilkes? Good to see you. Hey, man, it's always good to stay in the Mrs. Good books there, right? Let's see here. Let me see here. Let's see here. What's going on, Scott Webb? Good to see you checking in. Just kind of catching up with you guys here. Let's see here. Andrew says Bitcoin 1 hour and a downward channel with possible breakout. Bull div on the 30-minute as well. So let's check out that 30-minute there. Where are we seeing the bull div? Down here at the... Oh, yeah. Look at right there. Slightly higher lows. And then... Yeah. And then we've got definitely lower lows here. So higher lows, lower lows. I think Andrew just spends all day looking through all the 5-minute increment of the charts to find some stuff for us. Always good. But yeah, no, definitely a bullish divergence off that. And so, right off the top of this demand structure here, and then you get this candle like this. There's your clue to go long. Stop loss right below the swing low. If you're looking for higher confidence trades, that's what you do, right? If you're trading the 30-minute, you're doing that, and you're initially only looking for a target of this area right here. It's the 30-minute time frame, guys. If you're getting in on that, you're looking at $350 on the 30-minute. Too many times, a lot of the new traders, they come in here, and they'll be on that 30-minute for that, but then they'll be looking for the daily move. Don't do that, guys. If you're on the 30-minute, you're only looking for a few $100s of movement, on Bitcoin, right? You have to trade according to the time frame you're on, guys. Don't think you're going to find something on a very tiny, small time frame to make some big weekly movement or something, or some daily movement. You might lead to that, but if you're trading it, you've got to trade just the smaller time frame. And so, again, getting that bullish divergence showing up there at the top of this demand structure here. Yeah, that's a great clue to go long once it closes here, right? Stop loss right below, you go long, but, your target's got to be this right here, at least initially. If you're doing this, looking for a breakout up here, you're not trading correctly, guys. Does that make sense? Exxon, what's going on? Rising wedge? Yeah, I talked about that, buddy. Everybody's kind of looking at it that way. But, again, it reminds me of, so in the bull market there, in the last quarter of 2017 for Bitcoin, right? We had many of these where we had these, ascending kind of wedges, whether they were on pullbacks or whether they were just on, rallies. And, everybody would continue to try and short them. And then they would get confused about why price would break out higher. And it's because it's not really a wedge. It was just price consolidation to a level and then some sideways and then the bust out higher, right? It was just enough sideways to get demand to catch up with it. And then they just bust through the supply. So, yeah, potentially it looks like maybe it's a wedge. But, you really need to see some stronger some strong breakdown before you go, okay, yeah. If it is a true wedge, you should have a strong breakdown, okay, guys? Anytime that you think you have a wedge, and we'll look at it this way because this is what we're looking at right now, right? Well, you know what? Let me go ahead and get rid of this, right? Let me look at the other chart. Here's one of the best things you guys do. If you think you have a wedge here, if this is a true wedge, there should be a strong breakdown. Strong, big, large candles, large volume should break down from that. If it's just kind of going, if it breaks through your support there, just kind of goes sideways or whatever, that's most likely not a wedge. Why does it do that? Because your price consolidates here. So when you consolidate, when you break out of consolidation, you have a strong move. That's what you should see. It's the same way when you have the symmetrical triangle where you've got the consolidation to the point and then it breaks out down or up strongly. Yeah. If you're not breaking out or breaking down impulsively, good volume, large candle spreads, then it's likely not the compression pattern that you think it is. So just watch for that. I'm not saying this isn't right now. I'm just saying that if this is, then when it breaks, it should break. It shouldn't just like drop right here to the pivot. It should come on down here and at least target the S1, bounce up to the pivot, and then continue lower. If this is a true wedge right here. If it does anything else, this is not a wedge. Most likely, okay? So, yeah. Just something to think about there. Yeah, Hank, like me, man. Yeah, people, it's when you're new to trading, it's hard because you don't have practice. You don't know what you don't know. And you still think, especially if you're new, you think you understand how the markets work and trading works. And that tends to blind you a lot to what's going on. But yeah, if you're trading that 15-minute or 30-minute time frame, guys, don't be looking for thousands of dollars of movement. You may get it, but you got to be realistic about where your targets are. If you're on that 15 or 30-minute time frame, you are day trading, which means right now with Bitcoin at 20,000, you're looking for a few $100s probably of movement. You're just looking to that next cluster up as your initial target. Yeah, you're not trying to look out way above that. It may get there, but if you're trading off the 30-minute time frame, you're looking to make that next cluster, to make that next area, take your profits and do it again, right? So yeah. Let's see here. I'm trying to understand what you're saying here. They're poison. You're saying I don't like why Bitcoin sleeps. Ethereum is on the resistance already, like Bitcoin has on the 30. I'm not really sure I understand what you're trying to say there. Are you saying that you don't like that the way it's going sideways right here? Is that what you're saying maybe? Yeah, it would just be, if I'm right in the idea that the bottom's in, it's just this consolidation. Again, going sideways here on the daily, it's this area right here. This is what's kind of, doing its work here. Now, if I'm looking at high volume nodes here, look at what we've done here. We dropped down, pushed up, pulled back, found support at that high volume node. Pushed up to the next one, pulled back again, support there. Came up here, pulled back on this one, pulled up to the top, again, back to this one, pushed up higher. Now we're on this one, pushed up higher. We're on this one still. So we're on the top side of the high volume nodes, and so that's at least helpful. It doesn't guarantee we'll continue higher, but it is helpful. And so generally when you're trading, like this, if you can get that close above, this high volume node here, we should be, you got a little temporary one right here around 26.5 or 26.7, but you've got this bigger high volume node up here at 29 to 30. So if we're getting a good breakout here, we should rally up to this 29.30, I believe. There's not a whole lot of the market, you know, the whole time here. It's been since December of 20, right? When we last were over here, or the first over here. So since that time, every time we've come through here, there's not been a whole lot of interest in this level. It's kind of stopped there and then ran up, dipped, slipped, you know, fell through it. So the market's a little bit interested there, but nowhere near. It's really interested up here. And so these high volume nodes tend to have a magnetic pull on price. So that's what I'm still kind of looking for there. Yeah, pitchfork chart here. Yeah. I do this every once in a while, as you guys have seen. And so really, you know, found support right here on this little tine right here below the EQ of the fork here, the midway point. Rallied up, found support around it, found support on it. We're at this one right here. So again, next one is that one right there, right? If you're trading the pitchfork. And so where does that come? Well, kind of do this here. You see how this next point here just comes just shy of this area? R2 pivots right there. All these different ways you can look at it. That's the resistance there. So, you know, again, we'll be looking to see if we can't make that. You know, if you're trading the pitchfork and you're breaking out through this descending blue line here, which right now looks like it's probably going to be right there around 32,000, 32 and a half, maybe 32,000, depending on how long it takes to get up there. If you're breaking impulsively out through that, we should be good to go. You know, bottom should likely be in based on the pitchfork. Again, no guarantees ever, but, you know, we were rejected here. We came down. We found support in the middle there. So if we're breaking out, it's that whole idea of rejection, support, breakout through the rejection, original rejection there, and head up. And it usually indicates, you know, you're continuing up higher there. Okay, Hank is saying he means that Bitcoin is not bouncing like Ethereum or ES1 for that matter. It is a weak ass bounce compared to some alts, Ethereum and Legacy. Oh, okay, yeah. Thanks, Hank. I appreciate that. Yeah. So, you know, another way to think about it is, so generally Bitcoin moves when most of everybody else kind of settles down, right? So it kind of cycles that way, right? You have your the more you cycle through your large caps, your mid caps, your small caps, your shit coins, whatever, right? So you're cycling through that. And so, yeah, you know, Ethereum doing its thing. And then what we'll generally see is Ethereum pull back while Bitcoin's kind of taking off. And Ethereum won't pull back like huge. It should just kind of pull back a bit and then gradually kind of move up with Bitcoin. But when Bitcoin's moving, it should be in control. It should be moving better than most of them when it moves. So, but that happens because, again, you have everybody moving out of the other coins into Bitcoin. So, I mean, that's generally how we look at it. So, you know, to me, it's not a big deal that it's not rallied up yet like Ethereum. You know, again, people going to Ethereum, they'll make their money, they'll get out and put it. Well, hey, Bitcoin's still sitting down there. It looks like it wants to go now, so we'll put it in there, watch it go. That's the way I would kind of think about it probably. So, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so let's kind of see what other charts we got here with Bitcoin. Let's see. We do have this one right here. We continue to look at this 12-hour chart here. So again, you know, my supports and resistances here from back over on this area coming through, working out real well. Support, rallies up resistance, finds support on the pivot, breaks just out, finds resistance at the flat top. We talked about that, right? Talked about the idea we'd probably hit it, pull back, and then break through. We've got the 200 MA on the 12-hour coming down to meet that area now. We've pulled back, and we've just pulled back to the R1 pivot. And so here we are trying to print this bullish engulfing candle in the 12-hour. So my thought is, if we continue to rally up here, we should get a breakout. And it should be a nice impulsive breakout above it, above through that level. So that gets us above that 25.5 area. And again, we'd be looking for that move up there toward that 29.30 area before we start to maybe see some pullback. So I think, again, would be maybe a nice strong move up through that, up to that cluster. So we'll see if we can get that. But I mean, generally, as far as the cloud goes, I mean, this is great price action through the cloud here, really. You know, it continues to adhere to it. You know, we broke out, support, support, broke down, came back through, up, and then using these other areas of support and resistance and pivots here in the top of, it all just kind of, it's following as you would expect it to. Clouds flipped green. So we'll see if we can get that follow through on there, right? Let's see here. Hey, if it was proof of stake, yeah, I would be fully on board. Honestly, guys, I really don't give a whole lot of thought to all these, all this technical aspects of crypto and whatnot. You don't need to be a good trader, guys. This is the one thing I've tried to kind of mention over and over again as I've been doing this, for the last 5 years publicly. It's that, if you're all into the technicals and whatever, it's akin to being a fundamental trader, right? And for most people, they don't have the desire or, necessarily even able to do it very easily. But charting, anybody can do this. Anybody can learn to chart properly. It doesn't take a whole lot of skill or a whole lot of, like higher math or anything like that, or understanding, accounting sheets or, SEC statements or anything like that. It's just all about structure and what's going on. And so for most people, just learning how to trade, technical analysis is going to make them so much more money ever than worrying about fundamentals or technicals as to what is the protocol doing or whatever. So I personally don't tend to really give a whole lot of thought or care to what they say about the protocols and whatever, because, all that, the other people that do all that, their bets are already in there. The chart's already showing these things. And so as long as you understand how to read the charts, you learn to read them, not the other stuff. And they're already putting their moves out there, right? So I don't know. I think it's pretty good, right? I got to beef up my jokes. You guys are bad. But we do care about rumors and events that can influence the market sentiment. Nah, I don't really care about rumors and events either. Honestly, no. I've never, since I've been trading successfully, for the last few decades now, I've never really gave it a whole lot of thought. The worst or the biggest thought I give to any kind of major news event or whatever is that when it happens, I tend to be out of the market. Or I'm in a position where I've already been in for a significant, it's already got a significant profit in it. So I can withstand any movement on it. I don't really worry about that. Again, if you're looking at news, you're always behind. You guys have to understand, if you're trading based on news, you're already behind the rest of us. You're already behind the rest of us. We get in based on the charts well ahead of those news events. We don't worry about it. Does that mean we get every news event? No, of course not. We don't get every chart. We don't get every trading opportunity. And human beings, there's only so much we can do. But, I don't even think twice about news events and all that other silly stuff. I'll talk to you guys about it just because of what I'm talking about overall, what I think is going on with the economy, for instance, CPI numbers, job numbers, stuff like that. But yeah, I don't even really worry about that kind of stuff for that. Astrology for dudes. So anyway, so yes, that's what we're kind of looking at there. Let me look at these other charts here. Again, guys, reminder that we are on top of the 200 weekly MA right here. So again, if you trade moving averages, you should be bullish at this point. We've opened for the last 2 weeks and remained above that 200 weekly MA there, right? I mean, we dipped down, but we're, back up there above it, right? If you're into hash ribbons, again, guys, we're curling back up there, looking to close up. Don't forget, we got the mark here. Right here. Remember, we had the higher lows here, this bullish divergence on the histogram on the weekly here, leading to this rally off this June low here, and we've rallied. I mean, we've rallied good. Like I said, guys, off the bottom there, we've so far been up. What is that? 41.5%, guys. 41.5%. If you bought back where I did and just held. Now, I bought a couple of times in there, you guys know, and we're still up. I'm sitting up right now quite a bit, actually. Yeah, I'm sitting up pretty good right now still. Because, again, I had my first buy, which was about $200 off the low, or off what I thought was low at the time, and then it dipped down to the final low here. So that knocked me out, but then, of course, I entered those multiple other positions there afterwards. So, and just kind of holding those, because if the bottom's in, I want to hold those all the way through the rally up, to 100K or whatever we get, right? So it would be a great return. Buy my island. Get away from all the trolls. So anyway, we've got that going on. As far as the MACD, you can see that we've crossed bullishly this week as well. So now we just want to see, can we continue that, right? We do have right now, we have lower highs here. Now, whether it's this week or next, we should have a higher high off here, which will give us bearish divergence, right? So it'll give us bearish divergence, because I don't see us rallying up through here without getting some larger pullback along the way. So, again, probably be into next week. We'll probably get that push higher on that green there, and then look for that pullback, and then we'll have that bearish divergence between there. So we get the pullback, and then we'll start fresh on the histogram rallying back up. So yeah, the weekly still looks good on that. Bitcoin futures, again, still rallying higher here. Got minimum expect. If this is a 1-2-1-2 here, this gives a minimum expected wave 3 up there at about 29,250. Again, this looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. It looks like an ABC. So yeah, I mean, if this is 1, 2 here, that should I think that'll overextend that wave 3 target. Yeah, a little bit. You can see here, this will go 1, 2, 3, 5 up there, around 30,000, 225. And I mean, that makes sense, right? That's 30,000, round number, right? So we'll go ahead and put this up there, at least that. This is the Bitcoin futures, by the way, guys. They're on the CME, if you guys were wondering. So, yeah. And getting up much, more into this actual heavy area of the high volume node. So again, makes a lot of sense. So this being 1, 2, 1, 2 here, again, this may be working on a 1, 2 here. So we could see this potentially even push up a bit higher into that area, right? See, do I have any other charts here that we were looking at? Let's see here. We've got our point and figure chart. I haven't looked at what we've got here, but remember, from this red zone right here, the target is this area up here at around 2540 to 26,751 kind of area. And then this whole range right here at the bottom gives us a target up here of 29,860 to 31,333. Again, gets us that 2930 area that I was talking about. So these are based, of course, on this point and figure as it works out here. Our previous ones, purple target or purple range, purple target, light blue range, light blue target, teal target, whatever you want to call it. Let's see. I did previously have this chart as well, which showed this supply structure here. And so just about kind of running up into that, thinking we might get maybe a bit of a rejection in this area at least. But again, could rally through it, come back, retest it as support, and head up. So we're kind of seeing here. And again, we have this kind of hand drawn one up here again, 29 to 30,000. Almost 30 to 31,000 up here with the range on that one. And then just kind of looking at the daily up here. Oops. The daily up here. Let's see here. This cloud. Let's see here. That's the crypto double on the cloud. Okay. And so, yeah, again, following up on this daily cloud pretty well here. We had the dip below the red cloud, break back up. Remember what I told you about the top of the clouds here? This is the thing. You break out impulsively, come back, retest it, and it's solid, and you move up. That's the same kind of idea we're looking for on that 12-hour cloud right now. This one right here. Again, the idea that we'll break out impulsively. But, of course, when we do, that flat, is not really going to be there anymore. It's kind of this more, fluid kind of top here. But that's what I was talking about here. What I would be looking for is the big move through it, and then maybe they come back and retest it, and then head up. Which would be the same thing we'd expect here with the 200 MA, right? You get the impulsive breakout above it. You want to come back, test it as support, and then rally and break out above that swing high. And that should signal, okay, yeah, you're heading up higher now. So, I mean, again, guys, it doesn't matter how you look at it. It all kind of comes out to the same way, right? Let me see here. Is Litecoin still an indicator, or was that a joke? No, there wasn't. Every cycles, there's usually something that tends to lead and something that tends to follow. It looks like right now Ethereum is probably doing the leading at this point, which means that Litecoin will probably follow. But when it does, it usually catches people by surprise. It does its big takeoff, and then people are like, "Oh wait, what? What happened?" So that's usually what happens. So I tend to, ever since I've been in, guys. Since January of 2017, I've always kept money in Litecoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. And while I could with XRP as well, just because of how they generally would move. So I don't see any reason why Litecoin won't continue up as well from where it's at. But it looks like it'll probably be following at this point, maybe. Let me see here. Okay, so yeah, Bear USDT, here we come, kind of just heading lower here. Potentially have a 1-2, an ABC was 1 and then a 2 up, or we've got a 1 with a flat for a 2 and then coming down. Let's see here. If we do, they would give us a wave 3 right around 1618, so that would make sense, We'd look for a wave, we've got wave 4 working here. And then we've got wave 5 potentially in progress, which we'd be looking for a target down here at least of, what is that, 11,810? On this anyway. Just off of what we're looking at right here, right? Otherwise, the rest of the stuff, this isn't... because this does break higher than this isn't 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we should have further down with it. So like I said, potentially 1 with a A, B, C as a flat for 2. Expanded flat kind of thing. And then 3 and 4. Maybe 5 coming down. The other thought again is that it's 1, 2, and then maybe 1, 2 here. Remember, ultimately we're looking to kind of get down toward this 10,280 level. That might be close enough. You can see that kind of takes us right here to this area of support and resistance generally. But again, the expectation that Bear USDT moves down means Bitcoin moves up, right? And so we'll have to see if we can get that follow through. We definitely here on the daily have room for it to fall lower with RSI, and especially with the RSI, but also with our Stochh RSI here. We had a good hit up there, which is just that ugly opposite candle here on Bitcoin, that daily candle, right? But again, could have just cleared the way to allow the movement through it. So yeah. Let me see here. I don't live in Colorado because I'd have to constantly do Elliott wave analysis on all the mountain ranges you have to look at all day. Let me see here. Oh my gosh, you guys are too much. But anyway, yeah. So I mean, still ultimately looking, if we look at this Bear USDT here, right? Let's kind of move this down here and I'll bring this down. Again, we've got this big move down, plus sideways. I think we've still got further down here. A new low before we're done, which means Bitcoin should have a new high, most likely, before it's done, right? unless this just continues to break out higher, in which case, okay, then it doesn't. But it does appear that it needs to, or that it probably will head lower down. Yeah, maybe, right. So it looks like maybe like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 still to go here, which would be in line with what we're kind of looking at here, right? On that. So more or less, not the exact same count, but the idea that we would still have that one more move higher and this one more move lower here. You can see that the weekly is still really high on the Stochc RSI here on bear. By the way, bear, is 1, 2, 3, right? So ABC. So again, breaking down below this swing low right here at 61.30 is going to say, hey, we should continue lower with it, which means, of course, Bitcoin should then carry to a new high as well. So, yeah. Anyway, what else we got going on here? Man, oh man. Okay, let's look here real quick. The dollar. There's your big dollar picture on the daily. You made this low here. Potential tweezer bottoms. Bullish engulfing candle wants to rally up. Daily, here we are potentially rallying up to this resistance at about 51.8. But it still has further to go before it bottoms out and oversold, which it hasn't done since back here in December of 20. So, yeah, we could still be seeing that heading lower, and that's kind of the idea at the moment. If we log in here, let me see if we check in here. Let's see here. So I think what we have here, why is it not showing up on here? I might have done the wrong chart. Oh, this is the wrong chart. Let me get the new one. All right. Yeah, there we go. That's better. So this is a lot of rally up here. So the idea is, do we have 5 down? Now, this rally up here suggests that we might. But I can only get 3 waves down here. And so that would suggest ABC up, ABC down. So this would have to be 5 waves here with a flat playing out maybe. In that case, it gets really iffy trying to figure out what that count may be on this. Let me see here. But you can see here, we're probably getting close to being done. The 4 hours you can see here is almost topped out and oversold on the Stochc RSI. ABC up, ABC down, 1, 2, 3, 4. We could come up here a little bit higher. What'll that get us? 78.6 potentially right here, which is right around 106. I don't know. Maybe this becomes a leading diagonal here. Maybe this is like a ABC is 1, 2, ABC is 3, 4, ABC is 5. So that way we can get that up there. But either way, it should be nearing that reversal point. And of course, if it's coming down there and you're looking at that as kind of like that canary in the coal mine, the idea that the dollar's backing off means risk on generally. So we'll see how that plays out. Let me see here. Let's kind of jump up here real quick with, let me find my charts here for you guys. Let's go with the NASDAQ here real quick. What did I just do that at? Try again. Oh. All right, there we go. So, as I was speaking about the beginning there, I made a comment there on on Twitter last night, and I said it looked like today may be generally a down day for stocks. And I did that because of this candle here, which you've got similar pretty bad looking candles on the other indexes we'll see in a minute. This is this big, it gaps up and it goes a little bit higher and then closes huge down, bearish engulfing at the end of the day. Pause, potential reversal, Right now, we're rallying within the candle, so we'll see if that candle still holds as resistance. But, here we are. We're up about 50% retracement. This is the NASDAQ composite here. Remember, the idea is we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming down, and then AB working on C here. But definitely open to the possibility that maybe somehow this is an ABC or WXY, right? And we have a new all-time high. Right now, still nothing happening right now that says we definitely have that. With our signal services, we continue to play the bounce anyway. Made a great bit of money there off Coin and a few others there already. And then, we're in a couple more right now. So hopefully that helps you guys understand that even if you have an opinion about a larger time frame, what you think may be happening, you can still trade locally. And locally, since it continues to rally up, there's, it suggests that there may be some upside on some stocks, right? So you can do that, guys. Don't think, just because somebody says, well, I think it's going to do this, and then it does something, it starts doing the different on that bigger time frame, but still has a long way to go. Don't think, and so they're trading with that shorter time frame. Don't think that, oh God, they're just not preaching, what they're preaching there. It just is. You trade what you trade, right? You trade where you're at the time with an idea of the larger picture. And that way, what that does is, for instance, if you believe that this is a 1 and this is a 2 here, then you believe rightfully that your upside is limited. It shouldn't go out to a new all-time high. So you can trade long without thinking you're going to trade long to a breakout, right? So you can trade long locally, and if you get the breakout, guess what? Hey, you can continue trading long. That's great. And so what? So you were wrong. There's a new all-time high. So what? You're making money along the way. But if you think, this is we're not going to get a new all-time high, that we're going to continue lower, so you refuse to trade this, what are you doing? You're not trading then, guys. That's not trading. Again, we've been going up here like Bitcoin, right? We've been going up here since the 16th of June. Today is the 12th of August, right? So almost 2 months. 50% Bitcoin and NASDAQ here, right? In the indexes. I mean, it's silly not to take advantage of that while you can. All that means is that you just aren't buying here to hold indiscriminately up through a new all-time high. You're buying with the likelihood that you're going to sell well before that. But if it continues going up, hey, so you keep making money. You see how that works, guys? Yeah. Is the chart hitting the downward resistance line? Let me see here. From up here? Nah, you've got that. That's up there around the 61.8. If you go from here, you're hitting that, but that isn't from the top. That's just from, less. That's not even from wave 2. That's from wave 1 or wave 2 of 3 here, But yeah, you're kind of hitting that area there. Yeah. I think the more important one is this one up here, though, at the 61.8 area. So yeah. Let me see here. So yeah, so we're kind of looking at that. If this is an ABC up and is done here, then wave 3 down is going to be huge, guys. Because again, remember, that's that when it breaks down, everybody goes, oh, crud, this wasn't the bottom in a new bull rally. I need to get short on that. Right now, you've got a lot of fund managers and whatnot that seem to be kind of like money managers forced into going long because this rally has extended, 50%. So I don't think necessarily that a lot of the fund managers and hedge funds and stuff like that necessarily want to be long. I think they just, feel like they have to be at the moment because of the market. But I think it's, more of they're positioning because, they were short, right? So they're short coming down here. This rally up means they've got a short cover. They've got to cover those shorts, potentially go long a bit there. So they're kind of forced into that. Which means they're not buying on conviction, right? And so, that's what we're kind of looking for. We're looking for the big guys to buy or sell on conviction, not on because they're forced into it. Now, that doesn't mean it can't rally higher. The same thing kind of happened if we're honest, back over here at, in March, February, March of 20 here. This thing rallied up pretty hard here, and so a lot of them were short here, and again, forced out because of the market, forced to be long, even though they didn't necessarily want to be. Ended up turning out all well, but, again, I think we're kind of at that same point right here with why they're kind of going long at the moment, which means if the market starts showing some real weakness, they'll be out pretty quick. They won't hold on to those long positions, which will exacerbate, that move down a little bit more, right? Yeah, yesterday's Bitcoin candle was not an invitation to go long exactly. Same thing I told Discord. You really kind of want to see a breakout above that before you're going long on that larger time frame. Now, that doesn't mean, of course, here on Bitcoin that you can't go long, locally, right? But again, we talked about that. If you got in long here, it made sense. Bullish divergence, bouncing off the demand structure here. That's a high confidence. That's a higher confidence trade. You should have been long on that, but you should only be long to this area. And then you wait and say, okay, do we get a breakout higher? Then it starts getting interesting, especially if we get above this kind of point here, right? Then it gets interesting. But at least you can get you this, this money on this relief rally here, right? If that's all it ends up being. So yeah. Now here's the thing. If we look at this again, if we're looking at this, the 1618 is right there above that 15-minute pivot, if I'm not mistaken, right? So if we go 1, 2, or AB, right? 3 or C, it's right there at the 15-minute pivot, right? So right here, what do we have here? Well, we have potentially 1, 2, 3, 4, heading up. I don't know. Let's kind of see. Where does that 3 get us? Yeah, it gets us above the 1.2, right? So it's either, 3, 4, we'll get a 5 on up toward this kind of 1618 area, or it's a 1, 2, and then maybe it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So maybe it's a 1, 2, 1, 2 heading up. But you got to be careful, because if it's an ABC, then usually that C will end right here between the 100 and the 1.236, the 123.6 retracement level. So it'll be A, B, and a C in that area. Usually if you're getting to the 1618, that should have you leaning toward the idea that it's probably a 1, 2, 3. But right here, still quite possibly an ABC. We want to get the breakout above this previous swing high here, and then that opens up the door to further movement up. But again, if you were looking at a 30-minute to enter this, guys, with a 15-minute, and you got your your bullish divergence here, and you went long, I mean, this should have been your target. There's no reason you should have been anything higher. If anything, you should at least be taking half off here and letting the rest run, right? And that way, at least you're locking in some profit. So yeah, again, trading's about the system, guys. It's about the thing that you can continue to do over and over again mechanically. If you have a system set up to mechanically trade a certain way, then you don't have to worry about emotion getting involved in it. Here are your rules. Follow your rules, right? Let me see here. Let me see. And so now we've got the S&P. I hear you, Hank. You said that you should read the Bitcoin chart like you read the legacy chart, right? But then again, you also thought the dollar wasn't going to bottom, right? So there is that, right? So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Again, I think Bitcoin has a bit different narrative than legacy. Which could give it the possibility to rally up higher, even as legacy continues down. Now, nothing I said there says that has to happen. There is no guarantee that's going to happen. But I think there's enough of a narrative in there to have that possibility rather than just blindly, it's going to follow the other one. Which is why we trade like we do, right? We just trade with the idea that here we've got these larger targets, but along the way, we're going to see, are we hitting our levels along the way to kind of confirm it? Or are we not? And then, more of the non-confirmation of it. And that's what we should be doing as traders, right, guys? Does that make sense? Let's see here. Oops. So that was NASDAQ composite there. Same idea here with the E-minis. Again, this was that ugly candle right there. But going back to what Hank says, if you're going to trade it the same way, this is the same candle that we have on the daily on Bitcoin, right? Same candle, right? Even though structurally they're obviously pretty different, right? But overall, that was yesterday's candle at the swing high of the rally up. We're having that, right? Same idea, rally up. We have that, but here we go looking like we want to break out higher. So, if you take that same idea, then you would go long, right? But generally, guys, like Hank said, this is not an invitation right here to go long. This is an invitation to wait. Wait for some confirmation of some sort, because most often this right here, and I mean most often, like okay, I'm not running statistical analysis on this, but I would be willing to guess it's probably upwards of 98-99% of the time this is going to have a move down, whether it's just a pullback or a complete reversal. It's going to usually come down, right? Now, with what we have today, yes, we're rallying up, but we haven't broken out. So it is possible we could have some sideways before dropping down, right? Distribution coming in, right? That could be what's happening. But if we do continue to rally up, that R1 pivots that first target, and then, of course, you got the 61.8 up here at about 42 or 43.22.75. So, we've still got targets to the upside. Then we'll watch the 70.5, and then we'll watch the 78.6 here. That's kind of how I would watch that as it's rallying up. But, again, we're breaking out and oversold here, or overbought here on the daily RSI. Daily Stoke RSI is topped out just about at overbought. And, again, haven't quite broke out yet, but it looks like it wants to. But you might get a whole bunch of people trying to do that and just getting shut down, right? So if you come in here to the daily, right? Here we are kind of getting up to it. Where are we at? Are we at the EQ of that? On that 1 hour, we might be just right at the EQ of that supply structure right here. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, if we're looking at this, it's very quite possibly ABC. Back ABC. This looks like an ABC, though. Now, I mean, I'm not going by, it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But that's a pretty small 4 there, so I'm not so sure. This could potentially be ABC as W, X, ABC as Y. So see, there's other possibilities in here. So we're going to see, first of all, does it break out? If it doesn't break out and we come back down here and we start dropping below this 4219.75 here, that's an invitation to go lower. That's higher confidence that we'll probably break down below this swing low here. Now, does that mean we have to go down? No, because again, this still kind of looks like 3 here. It looks like ABC. So if this is an ABC and this is a WXY, guess what, folks? 5 waves down toward this swing low. Gives us a flat correction before we head up. So a lot of things still could happen here on this range. So definitely something to watch there with that, right? Let's see. The real go-go, what's up, man? Wind shorts? I'm always wearing shorts. It's hot out here in Texas. Wind shorts for what, man? Again, with what I just said here, we'd want to see some movement down. I mean, realistically, you're at least looking for a breakdown below 4080.50 here on the E-minis, on the S&P E-minis here, as a hint that wave 2 may be complete. And then you're looking for a breakdown through the daily pivot, especially impulsively, to really kind of give us that first real clue. But, you got to get down below wave B here at 3723.75 for some higher conviction, right? This adds confidence to the idea that wave 2 is done and wave 3 is in progress. Now, it still doesn't guarantee. Remember, trading is just this movement between more or less correct, right? What you think is going to happen is either more or less likely, depending on how the price action moves, right? So the more it moves in the direction of what you're looking for, the more likely it is. The more it moves in the other direction, the less likely it is, right? So along the way, you find out your areas. At what point are we looking for price to potentially do A or B, right? And so that's where we get, where we get this, the hint, the first real clue, and then the, added confidence there. Let me see here. So that's E-minis there. The Dow. Let's kind of pull up the Dow here. Again, Dow doing the same. Again, another ugly candle here, right? This daily candle tells us demand. Look at demand, gapped up, closed near the highs of that day, and then the next day, kind of gapped up a little bit more here again and rallied up, and then it petered out. Didn't have any more, right? So it pulled back, but there's been no follow through yet. So as I always say, there are no reversal candles. Anything, which is different than what is taught to most new traders. If you guys look up candlestick online, candlestick trader, whatever, the people who put those things together often talk about reversal candles. Well, they're not really. They're potential reversals. They're pauses. So we get this, and then we kind of look, okay, do we get sideways or down, even down a little bit back? Don't have to be full reversals. Could just be a pullback and then a rally back up. It's definitely not guaranteed to be reversal, but it says a lot about what's going on with the market at the time. Again, started out bullish, ended the day almost near the lows of the day in this ugly looking shooting star almost type candle here, almost a reversal hammer, right? But you have to have follow through. You have to have, it's the same thing we talk about with Wyckoff, right? You get your volume and price action analysis, and it looks like it may be something going, like that's the top there or whatever, but there's no follow through, right? It doesn't make a new lower low. It gets caught in rallies and breaks back out. So same idea here. But these candles, these daily candles, is why I said there on Twitter that it looked like generally should be a down day today. We're not getting that at the moment. Now, there's still a few hours left in the day, and we could have a sell-off as it goes into the weekend. Again, we've had 50% rally, guys, in our indexes. It's going to be some profit taking. End of the week, maybe, right? I think if the CPI number had come out just what they thought it was or worse, I think we would have had that selling, that taking profits. I think maybe, profit takers are buoyed a little bit by that softer than expected CPI number. And so I think maybe that's why we haven't seen any real strong selling yet. But with a couple hours left in the day, we could see. I haven't checked the breadth of the rally or whatever, see how many, your advances versus your declines or anything like that yet. So we'll have to check that. If this is advancing on light volume, or it's just a few stocks kind of carrying it up, then, again, we would expect to see it either end of the day today or, beginning of the week next week. See that in there. But yeah, so as we go through here, again, we've got this as an A, B, potentially C right now. It's come up into the area we would generally expect, right? But we do have to keep in mind that if we look at this here, this is the 1618. And remember what I said. Usually, wave C will end around that 100 to 123.6 area, right? And usually, if it's rallying up to the 1618, not usually, but often, it'll actually be a wave 3, right? So, it doesn't have to be a wave 3. It could be 1, 2, maybe 3 of 3 heading up there still. You'd have to figure out what your count looks like here. So there's still possibilities. But, again, even with that, or even it could be a WXY printing out here, it's still potentially bearish, right? But, again, just because it's potentially bearish doesn't mean you short before there's a reason to short, guys. And I think that's where a lot of people are getting caught up, a lot of your big names on Twitter that have been talking about, Bitcoin is this is all a bearish rally, since the bottom here, and they keep telling you to short all the way. They're not waiting for confirmations, right? They're not waiting for any real confirmation. Or their shorts are intended to be, like if they telling you to short here, it's for below here, right? Tell you to short here, again, it's to be below here. They're always toward those new lows without actually getting some kind of market structure that says it should. Right now, that market structure off 18th of June, guys, is bullish. This is bullish. High, low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, guys. Until this changes, you should generally not be shorting. Now, when it does change, it may only be a pullback. Okay? But at least until this changes, until you're breaking down below the previous swing low there, you should be looking to buy the dip, not sell the rally. That's trading 101, guys. Trading 101. You trade in the direction of the trend. I think a lot of people are losing money with crypto. I've seen it seems like over the past few years, because they're trying to trade both directions, or they're trying to counter the trend. Everybody wants to catch that highest point, so they can talk about, I more or less got lucky catching down, as close as I did to the bottom, guys. I had my reasons for doing so, but, still to be able to catch it there is still kind of lucky, right? A few $100s off the bottom, right? We don't trade for that specifically, just trade in the direction of the trend, guys. I can't tell you enough to do that. If you can do that, that's going to wipe out a lot of bad trades you're going to have, okay? Trading in the direction of the trend will wipe out a lot of the bad trades you've been experiencing. Which means you'll have a better win rate, right? And your trade should be generally more profitable because you're trading in the direction of that trend. The price tends to continue going in the direction of that trend, right? If you're thinking about the trend off the all-time high, you're looking at larger than a daily time frame. You're looking at a weekly time frame. And in that case, the structure is down, right? Low, high, lower high, lower low. So if you're breaking up above this area here, guys, that's going to break that market structure off the all-time high. You won't be in bearish market structure anymore. But you've got to get up here off this. What is this here? 32, 383 and 96 cents. Now, again, that doesn't guarantee that you're going to get to a new all-time high. But what that does is breaking out above that means that this bearish market structure is no longer in play. Okay? Because remember, high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. You break out through that lower high there, well, now you don't have that lower high. Now you've got higher highs and lows off that low, so you've got this new bullish market structure coming up. It could still be corrective. I don't know. Maybe this is 1 here, right? Or A. And, it can go up higher here for B, get up into this area. Or 2 or whatever, right? But at least you know that if you break off that, you're no longer in a bearish market structure. You are fully in a bullish market structure until you aren't anymore. Does that make sense? Yeah, being super bearish, yeah. I mean, if you're trying to long all this all the way down and you're not using proper risk management, that's going to tear you up. Even if you're using proper risk management, it's still difficult to go for a while, with a generally losing kind of account, right? So yeah, and you start to get more and more bitter and more upset, and because you're fighting the trend the entire way, and then when you start to go with the previous trend, it changes and goes the other way, right? Often what happens. Sure. Let me see here. Ascending triangle on the daily on Bitcoin. Where? Right here? Nah. I think this would have needed to have closed up if that was the case. Again, I think this looks more like a wedge than a ascending triangle here. Mostly because of this end right here. So, but I don't think necessarily that it's either, unless maybe it's, like I said, a 1-2, and then this is a 1-2 as a leading diagonal, right? So we could have a 1 with the 2 as a flat, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a leading diagonal for 1. 1, 2, 1, 2. And the pullback is minimal compared to the wedge. And often that's what it is. Often you're only going to get a wedge pullback at 23. If the wedge is a leading diagonal, often your pullback is only 23.6 to 38.2. So what is the pullback here? If that's the case, and this count, that count would be a little bit different than what I'm looking at. But let me see here. Yeah, see, that's right here below. You probably can't see here, but there's the 23.6, there's the 38.2, and there's the pullback to the 38.2. So, the idea that we've got this alternate count that says maybe 1 with a flat as a 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is leading diagonal as a 1, and then a small 2 pullback. And look where we pull back. We pull back right to this previous area of resistance right there. 1, 2, 1, 2. And so 1, 2, 1, 2s, we know that third wave is really powerful, right? That it's usually a third of a third wave, right? So powerful move up takes us through all this in that area, right? So yeah, definitely possible with that. If we're looking at this as a 1, 2 here, that's going to give us a wave 3 around 31,920. That gives us this larger wave 3 up here around 34,140, 34,150 area. And so what does that mean? Well, you know what? Let me go ahead and make a chart here. Let me show you guys something real quick. Okay. So, watch this, guys. Let's say this is the count right here, right? And let's say this right here, leading diagonal. Okay. Take that up one. All right. So let me just kind of draw this out so so I'm sure that you're following along with what I'm talking about here. Okay. So if this is 1, 2, 1, 2, and again, notice that this support right here, where it's finding support, is this area of resistance here. Support here, resistance here, whatever, right? So it's on that next level up, right? So if that's the case, then generally we're going to look for wave. Now remember this, I'm going to show you this because this is that thing I was talking about, okay? God dog, it went to the wrong one there. So we could sit here and go, okay. So, 32,240, whatever. I'm just trying to pull this real quick. We'll just set it up there, right? So that gives us a 3. And look at it, carries us right through this general area, right? 4 gets us down here around 28.5, right? And then 5 gets us up here at 34,550 kind of area, right? Now watch what happens. You might already be seeing this yourself. Okay, so let's say this is that, right? It goes 3, it goes 4. So we're just basically staying within this cluster here, right? And we go 5 up here. Now, if that's the case, then our wave 4 is likely going to pull back right into this area. Because what do you have? You have this cluster. You'll have sideways here. So most likely you're going to pull back to this 23.6 at 29.789 kind of area at that high volume node, right? And then that will likely get you this rally up here toward 37.9, 38. I'd just say 38,000. It's pretty close to that, right? 38,000, Chris. There we go. Okay. So this gets us into this next high volume node here, right? And if we look at this, and we can also check out what's the extension on wave 3 here. Wave 3 is just around the 3618 extension, a normal target when you overextend, right? And so the idea here is then we get this 1 up here, 2 back down. Remember, we're building, we've got sideways here, we're building sideways here, we're building sideways here. 2 should just come on back to this area before it heads on up, right? And if that's going to happen, let's say we get kind of in this 38.2 area, well, all of a sudden, look where we got, guys. We got 3, we got 4, look where we got 5. So 5 waves up from the bottom comes around 69, 600 or so, right? And so what does that do? Well, it means that we get 5 waves up, the first subwave of the next waves up, right? That terminates right around the previous swing high. And that's what we generally look for. It doesn't guarantee it's going to happen. It doesn't always happen that way. But most of the time, the first 5 waves up, their first wave 1 coming up, subwave, should terminate either a little bit before or a little bit after that previous swing high. So, again, simpler count here than the 1, 2, 1, 2s we've got going on. I think it's definitely a possibility. Maybe it's even ABC is 1, 2, ABC is 3, 4, ABC is 5. Maybe 5 is right here, and we're getting the pullback lower here. If we're coming back toward the pivot, that's probably a good sign that's 5 there, and that's a 1, and then we got a 2 on the pullback here. We'll go up. Right now, there is absolutely nothing going on that tells me that we should definitely be dropping below the daily pivot. Again, that daily pivot is set from this area, which has held as support here since June. Support, resistance, right? Resistance and support all the way through, right? That's a big level to break down through. Until we actually break through that impulsively, there's no reason for me to think that we should be heading way down here or anything. Now, if we break down through that impulsively, well, okay, then it opens up the idea that maybe we've got some sort of ABC here and we're heading down. But that's kind of like my key level I'm watching there, right? I don't have any specific, red line, right? Because again, as I said, trading should be this idea that price is moving more or less toward what you think it is, right? So you're either gaining more and more confidence or losing confidence in what you're saying, right? So for me, again, impulsive breakdown through the pivot is going to be my first warning. It doesn't say it has to go down to a new low, but now I'm going to start entertaining a bit more seriously the idea that maybe this is an ABC. If we break down below this swing low sitting here, what is this? At 18,603, I think, if you break down through that, I think there's the strongest likelihood is that you are heading down lower. And in that case, I would assume this is 3 and this is 4. And from the current top here, that gives me a target here of 14,200. Now, it doesn't have to. All it has to do is 5 waves down. 5 waves down that break down below the swing low here. So we could just kind of come down to the S2 pivot on the current daily right now, right? And be done. But, again, we're looking for targets. How do you decide how something's going to go? Well, this is what we'd look for, right? If we do break down below the daily here, I guess what I'm saying, my first thought is I want to see a reversal off the S1. Okay? So first thing is, do we get an impulsive breakdown below the pivot? If we do, I start entertaining more seriously the idea that this is an ABC. But I'm still looking for a reversal off this S1. If we continue down through the S1, I'm looking much more likely at this of being an ABC. If we break down through this wave 2 swing low here, I'm all but guaranteed that we're likely headed down lower here. It's still not a guarantee, but for all intents and purposes, you should be looking to further downside at that point. And once again, the target based on the height of this rally here and the idea that this would be 3 and this would be 4 is down here around 14,200 on Coinbase. But then we watch as it's coming down here, are we getting 5 that ends just below the swing low? If we are, we could have just a short 5, and then we're kind of a little neutral looking at, okay, do we break back above the swing high here? Because that'll say, okay, wave 5's done, we're up. Or do we kind of pull back and continue on down, in which case that target remains valid. All right, guys? Does that sound about right? I mean, does that make sense there? All right, guys. So anyway, we spent a lot of time talking about Bitcoin more than anything else today, and I think that's just, we kind of tend to, but I think because most of y'all are coming in kind of looking at that, and so we'll see how this plays out. But in general, dollar I think is still going lower. Bitcoin I think is going higher. Stocks, I still think the top's in, but that doesn't mean they can't go up higher. The stock index is there. But I am open up to the possibility that maybe the all-time might not be in. But man, oh man, if we start getting near the swing low on those indexes, I think at that point, you really start looking at probably being short if you're not already at that point, or at least being out. Because if it breaks down below that swing low, it should do so with some significance on that. Does that make sense, guys? All right, like I said, guys, you can join us over at howtotradetowin.com. We'd love to have you there. If you go to the Tier 3 annual, you'll see that it is half price. It's already in there. You don't have to add a coupon or anything in it. Do that, and then follow the instructions on the email on how to activate or how to sync up your account on the website with Discord so you can see the Tier 3 channels. And then send me a DM on Discord, and I'll get you hooked up with 6 months of signals of your choice, guys, whether it's crypto, stocks, FX. Like I said, we're up. God, what did I say? We're up right now for our FX. We are up about. Oh, I don't even know. I showed you that that post there. What is that? 108, 71, it's 179, 190, 204, 250. We're probably up about 200 right now on the week. Maybe 220 on the week. We are up on crypto. We're up 48.50. We're probably about, God, what did we have the first day there? We're up. Well, we're over 50% at least on the crypto. And we've got right now with what we've got in progress right now, we're up currently about 70% on top of that. And then of course with stocks, you guys know what we did with that, nailing it with some stocks there. So we're well up on that as well, over 30% or something like that, and we got some that are in there right now. So lots of signals sitting there waiting to activate at the moment. So we'd love to have you there. Okay. Sister's doing well. Thank you for asking, Hank. Everybody's kind of doing well, looking to hopefully make this move over to Houston here in the next month. And that'll be a lot of fun. And we can start looking at maybe doing meetups on at least a bi-weekly, if not monthly basis. At least a monthly, if not bi-weekly basis in the Houston area. So, again, might be something fun to do. Man, oh man. You know what, guys? At the end of the day, the only thing you control is how much you lose. That's it, right? Because trading is simple, but it's not easy. All right? It's simple, but it's not easy. So the only thing, or the thing that you should be concentrating more than anything else, even though it's not as much fun, is your risk management. If you can do that properly and get better and better and better at that, it's going to make the rest of your trading exponentially better. If you can't do it, or if you refuse to do it, it's going to make the rest of your trading exponentially worse. Okay? So there you go. I will be back on Tuesday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Hopefully, you'll show up. We'd love to see you over there. If you do sign up, say hi in the channels there. We'd love to know you're there. Like I say, guys, a lot of our members have been with us for years and years and years, some of them from the very beginning. And so there's a lot of, they love when we have new people because they're able to, they love to jump in and help and give their thoughts and everything. If y'all ever have an issue in Discord, please let myself or Adam know, and we will take care of that. We don't let people stick around. That's one of the things that when you sign up, one of the things you're agreeing to is that you're not going to be an asshat. If you're coming in just to cause issues, we will boot you. You're not going to get a refund. You know what's up. Conduct yourselves in a manner that's, man, that would make your kids proud to know you. Okay? All right, guys. All right. So if you're in Discord, we'll see you there. If not, like I said, we will see you guys on Tuesday. All right? Have a great weekend, everybody. Take care.